How to reduce blood pressure without medicines. It is important for all of us because high blood pressure is a very common condition affecting 1 out of 3 adults. This video is also going to be important for two categories of people: those who have got borderline blood pressure readings and those who are already diagnosed with high blood pressure and are taking regular medicines for the same. For those of you who don't know, high blood pressure is a progressive condition. What I mean by that is, if suppose somebody is diagnosed with high blood pressure, for the initial 5 to 10 years, it's likely that his blood pressure will be under very good control with one drug. 5 to 10 years down the line, it's highly likely that he will require an additional second drug to keep his blood pressure under normal conditions. Again, 15 to 20 years down the line, it's highly likely that he will require a third drug to keep his blood pressure under normal values. Because by taking regular medicines, you are just keeping it under control and not addressing the root cause of the problem. By following the tips given in this video, you will not only be able to avoid those second or third drug in future, but probably also will be able to get away with your existing drugs. Namaskar friends, I am Dr. Prasad, who has got 15 years of experience in treating blood pressure. Let us get into the slides. Tip number 1, Transcendental meditation given by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi ji. I know many of you might not have heard about him because he spent most of his life outside India. But I definitely request to people who don't know about him to make at least a Google or a Wikipedia search to know who was Maharishi Mahesh Yogi ji and what was his global contribution. Transcendental meditation is proved by more than 9 randomized controlled trials from some of the top universities of United States, and also a meta-analysis which is supposed to be the gold standard method of research to reduce blood pressure significantly. By regular practice of this meditation, people can achieve a reduction of upper blood pressure by 2 to 8 mm mercury and lower blood pressure by 2 to 6 mm of mercury. These are the average figures. Some people might end up achieving little higher reduction, while some might achieve little lower reduction. Regular practice of transcendental meditation has got also other health benefits. You can visit www.tm.org for all the details. All meditations have to be learned from teachers, because if you don't do it correctly, you may not get the desired result, and sometimes you may even end up with side effects. I have given telephone contact details of 2 teachers whom I know in the description box. You can check it at the end of the video. Coming to tip number 2, yoga. There are a lot of scientific studies on yoga to demonstrate that it reduces blood pressure significantly to the tune of 6 to 8 mm of the upper blood pressure and about 4 to 6 mm of the lower blood pressure. I am referring particularly to a form of yoga called as Iyengar yoga because of a randomized controlled trial showing its significant benefits. This kind of yoga has to be practiced at least twice a week, and each session should be of about 60 minutes. I have given details of the poses that were followed in that particular study. Tip number 3 is Tai Chi, which is actually a traditional Chinese practice involving repetitive slow body movements coordinated with respiration. In multiple studies, Tai Chi has shown to reduce blood pressure by 6 by 4 mm of mercury. Again, this has to be practiced in 3 sessions per week, each session lasting about 50 minutes. Tai Chi links for beginners as well as for daily practice have been given in the description box. Tip number 4. DASH diet. DASH stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension, wherein a diet rich in vegetables, fruits, grains and low-fat dairy products reduce blood pressure by about 8 to 14 mm of mercury. It's unfortunate that people only know about low salt diet and very less people know about DASH diet, because it's very interesting to note that the DASH diet gave 8 to 14 mm BP reduction, while low salt diet gave only about 2 to 8 mm of BP reduction. So go for DASH diet, which is rich in vegetables, fruits, grains and low fat dairy. Coming to tip number 5, low salt diet, the definition of which is less than 6.5 gram per day of sodium chloride or less than 2.5 gram per day of sodium. Because you might have seen in these packed foods, where they mention sodium rather than sodium chloride. There was a very interesting research from India suggesting that the average intake of sodium chloride per day is about 11 gram, which is almost 2 times the recommended quantity. Use moderate amount of salt while cooking and not to add extra salt on table. We should also try to avoid salt rich items like pickle, papad, chutneys or these packed foods, because most of these packed foods have got high amount of salt which is used as a preservative there. So we should try to go for fresh foods rather than packed foods. I would like to share a research from United States which revealed the extra salt only 20% of a person's intake. The major salt came from the packed foods. Situation is not different in many urban metros with lot of women working. There is a lot of packed food coming into the house. So please be careful, read the salt content in the packed food before you buy them. And also I personally feel evening snack is an important source of salt intake for many Indians. So choose your snack wisely. Many people complain to me that they don't feel food tasty and enjoyable if the salt content is less. Let me share with you a very interesting experiment. When a group of people were given low salt diet continuously for a period of more than 3 months, there was a readjustment of taste buds on the tongue so that they stopped cribbing and started enjoying the food after a period of 3 months, even though the food continued to have low salt. If you don't believe me, you can try yourself. Do you think once upon a time our ancestors had salt? Were they not enjoying their food? If some people still feel they need something to spice up their food, you can choose vinegar pickles, lemon, chili, herbs to make your food tasty. Sodium is the one which is important in rising blood pressure and not chloride. You should monitor your sources of sodium apart from salt like soda bicarb, etc. Tip number 6, weight reduction. If you are obese or overweight, please reduce your body weight. For every 1 kilogram of weight loss, there will be 1 millimeter of mercury drop in blood pressure. If somebody loses 10 kilogram of body weight, there will be 10 millimeter of mercury drop in his systolic blood pressure. Tip number 7, regular physical aerobic activity like brisk walking, cycling, swimming, jogging and even light weight lifting has shown to reduce blood pressure. It also has many other benefits like reducing your weight, getting you in shape, etc. Tip number 8, smoking and excessive alcohol have shown to raise blood pressure. If somebody moderates their alcohol intake or quits alcohol and smoking, definitely we can expect a good amount of blood pressure reduction. Along with alcohol, the soda and salty snacks are also to be blamed for high blood pressure. Tip number 9, adequate sleep. It's very important to have 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, because there are a lot of experiments to suggest that in a sleep deprived person there is overactivation of sympathetic nervous system causing deleterious effects on various organs, and one of them is a rise in blood pressure. Coming to tip number 10, still there are many more methods to reduce blood pressure, but the evidence for these methods is not as strong as what it is for the previous methods. Hence I have combined all of them under one basket and labeled them as tip number 10. One example is mindfulness meditation. A well-known example is Vipassana meditation, which is supposed to be taught by Bhagavan Buddha, has shown to reduce blood pressure. And another important example of mindfulness based meditation is heartfulness meditation. The details for both Vipassana as well as heartfulness meditation have been given in the description box. You can check it at the end of the video. Then coming to other methods like left nostril breathing, which has shown to reduce blood pressure significantly in the short term, but long term studies are not available. Similarly, intermittent fasting has again shown to reduce blood pressure significantly, but in small studies. and it also has many other benefits. Coming to acupressure, Samo has not shown a significant blood pressure reduction when practiced alone, but definitely with drugs, there has been a substantial reduction in blood pressure. So, all these methods also have been shown to reduce blood pressure, and whoever is comfortable with whatever methods can give a trial for all this. Coming to most important section of the talk, how to incorporate these methods in the management of high blood pressure. I will give two examples. Example number one, a young person incidentally detected to have borderline blood pressure readings or in the stage 1 hypertension, but is not having any symptoms and also not having any other complications like diabetes, high cholesterol or tobacco usage. For such people, I recommend to follow these methods for the initial 1 to 3 months and see how is the effect on your blood pressure. You should continue to monitor your blood pressure. Suppose you don't get the desired result, then you will have to start medicines, and still I would recommend you to continue these methods. The second scenario is that you get a adequate result with these methods, in which case I will recommend clearly to continue these methods throughout your life and also continue to monitor your blood pressure. Coming to second example, wherein an elderly person, suppose something like 60s or 70s, has been found to have a very high blood pressure like 210 over 110 or 120. For such people, I clearly recommend to straight away go for medicines. You can together start these methods as well, and if you get very good desired result, then you can reduce your medicines later. Coming to my concluding message, if your blood pressure is very high, don't hesitate to start medicines. I've seen some patients, even with blood pressure of 200, 120, will be telling we will try meditation, relaxation first and then see for medicines. No, you don't have time to wait in those contexts, because all these methods will take time to reduce your blood pressure. So in those situations, even if your blood pressure in the stage 2 or stage 3 range, please start medicines. Simultaneously work on these methods. Later on, if you show very good BP response, we can always reduce the medicines. To clarify it further, when I mean to reduce your BP medicines, it's only when your BP is on the lower side of normal. For example, if your upper blood pressure is hovering around anywhere between 100, 110 or 90 and your lower blood pressure around 60 to 70, that's only the case when we try to reduce your blood pressure medicines. If your blood pressure is pretty well controlled, like around upper one around 120, 130, lower one anywhere between 70 to 80, we don't reduce the medicines in those situations. In such situations, if you reduce the medicines, your blood pressure is going to go up. Whatever is the situation, patient is not going to take any decision on whether to reduce or stop the medicines. Please consult your regular doctor. Let him decide what is best for you. Whatever are the circumstances, don't forget to continue to monitor your blood pressure. To summarize, this table depicts the approximate blood pressure reduction associated with various lifestyle modifications. I have got a passion for teaching and a personal mission to educate the public on health related issues. If you want video to be made on any particular topic, please leave it in the comment section below. Stay safe, stay strong. We will meet in the next video.